It's Wednesday, January 18th. Welcome to the News Diet. Today I'm going to talk about China's population decline, George Santos's potential Russian oligarch ties, the Ukraine strike, and also the Republican candidate that plotted shootings against Democratic officials. Let's be informed so we can get on with our day. For the first time in about 60 years, China's population has declined, meaning deaths have outnumbered new births. This is noteworthy because a continued drop in population could potentially affect the economic growth that's made it a superpower today. According to the National Bureau of Statistics of China, the end of 2022 saw a decrease in population by 850,000 from the year before. That puts it at a population of 1.4 billion. One of the obvious reasons for this decline is the ramifications of China's controversial one-child policy that it enacted in the 1980s. At that time, authorities were worried about an overpopulation problem, so they restricted families to only one child. Fast forward to 2015, and the government eased the policy for married couples to have 2 kids, and then in 2021, allowed up to 3. Although the easing of the law hasn't proven to be very effective. For example, much of the pandemic response has likely reversed the desire for families. China's strict zero-COVID policies that have meant perpetual lockdowns for months or years for some have created environments not conducive to raising children. And also, China's younger generations in general are expressing more individualistic sentiments that oftentimes means the decision to remain childless. So what you have here is fewer babies being born, as well as an increase in life expectancy. China's rise over the last few decades to become the world's second-largest economy has also allowed for longer living. But if there isn't a younger generation to take the reins from all that growth, then the assumption is that productivity levels will have to decrease, especially as we're seeing other rising economies around the world, like India, increase their population, almost surpassing China's. Also, by 2035, almost a third of China's population will be over the age of 60. So with the smaller upcoming generation, there's concerns over tax revenue and also pension plan contributions. Before the next story, I just wanted to thank you for tuning in and following the show. If you're enjoying the News Diet, then hitting that subscribe button right now can make a massive difference in helping this show grow and reach new audiences. So if you feel compelled, please feel free to follow along permanently by becoming a subscriber. Last week, I talked about new Congressman George Santos, who's currently facing pressure to resign following the news of extensive lies and embellishments of his professional and personal background. Everything from his education to his sexuality and his finances is clouded in mystery without proper records to support his stories. And now we can add another mystery to the list. The Washington Post has pointed to court documents and also Zoom video footage to show that Santos may have ties to a sanctioned Russian oligarch. The connection is his relationship with the oligarch's cousin, Andrew Trader, whose investment firm took on his oligarch cousin's conglomerate as a client in 2018. The Post says that in addition to making large contributions to Santos's campaign, that Trader also put hundreds of thousands of dollars into Harbor City Capital, which is where Santos worked for more than a year. And Santos admitted in a Zoom meeting that his investment firm was a client of his. Harbor City has since been accused by regulators of being a Ponzi scheme. Now, all of this is kind of confusing, and where it gets a little more complicated is that another company strongly connected to Trader is also shown to have deposited $625,000 into Harbor City as well. So, the real question is, was any of this money used to fund Santos's campaign, considering that Santos claimed to have paid over $700,000 of his own money? And it's even more suspicious as he's never reported any income from Harbor City, even though he's received payments from them as recently as last spring. A losing Republican candidate for the New Mexico House was arrested for allegedly paying 4 men to shoot at the homes of Democratic officials. This included 2 county commissioners and 2 state lawmakers. The man's name is Solomon Peña, and he ran for the State House District 14 against an incumbent Democrat. That incumbent, Representative Miguel Garcia, won the race by a landslide, winning 74% of the vote. But Peña claims that these results were false and that the election was stolen from him. From what I can tell, he's presented no evidence to support his accusation other than expressing his grievance on Twitter after the election. This is also around the time that he visited the homes of some Democratic officials to express his feelings on the results. He reportedly didn't cause any harm in these interactions, but the officials have since come out and revealed that he was aggressive and erratic. So it wasn't until a routine traffic stop that linked Peña to the 4 shootings. One of the men accused of being hired by Peña was driving the car where officers found the firearms linked to the shootings. Now, no one was injured, and supposedly the idea behind them was to intimidate more than anything else, but regardless, a SWAT team arrested him on Monday. Peña has a pretty extensive criminal history. Back in 2007, he was convicted of 20 charges, which included larceny, burglary, and receiving stolen property, for which he supposedly served 9 years for. Because of his record, he actually wasn't even able to vote until 2021. Ukrainian authorities have increased the fatality count of a weekend missile strike to 40 people. The strike was on Saturday in the eastern city of Dnipro, which Ukraine claims was part of a wider attack by Russian cruise missiles. The Kremlin has denied the attacks and suggested that maybe the destruction was caused by Ukrainian defense actions. The residential building that was hit is home to about 1,700 people. About 39 people were rescued from the strike and 75 others wounded. The Associated Press reports this attack to be the deadliest on Ukrainian civilians since before last summer. Ukrainian allies have denounced the strike, with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres saying, quote, "Attacks against civilians and civilian infrastructure violate international humanitarian law." This adds to Ukraine's accusations of a pattern of war crimes that they want investigated by the international community. You've just been informed, so now it's time to get on with your day. I'm Michele Carroll. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode and want to continue following a healthier alternative for staying informed, where I forgo partisan fighting and fear-driven narratives and just get to the point, then please be sure to hit that subscribe button, as of course you'll get more of this show in your feed, and also you'll be helping this new channel grow and reject sensational media. Thank you so much for your support, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode.